Assalamu alaikum, this is Maria Zulfikar welcoming you all to the English news from BTV Chattogram. Let's begin with the headlines. Bangladesh and Malaysia signed 5 MOUs. ICT grants additional 1 month to complete murder case of Yamin killed during July uprising. National Consensus Commission term extended by 1 month till September 15. Israeli attacks kill 89 Palestinians, including 31 waiting for aid in Gaza. And Dhaka Abahuni suffered 2-0 defeat against Muras United in qualifying round of AFC Challenge League at National Stadium in Dhaka. Viewers, those were the headlines. Now moving on to the details. Bangladesh and Malaysia signed 5 memorandums of understanding and exchanged 3 notes in different areas of cooperation on the first day of Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus's 3-day visit to Malaysia today. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus and Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim witnessed the signing of the MOUs and exchange of notes in Putrajaya. Later, a joint press briefing was held. Chief Advisor sought Malaysia's cooperation in resolving the Rohingya issue.
Professor Muhammad Yunus, who is now Chief Advisor during the transition years, he made remarkable progress in ensuring there's peace and security in the country, and now continuing that collaboration to enhance relations, both investment, trade, culture and education with Malaysia.
We wanted to thank Malaysia for hosting us so much of our people, and we hope this door will remain open and continue to become wider so that we can host many other young people to come and work in Malaysia. Strengthen our resolve in making sure that Bangladesh goes in the right direction. We are very happy, we restored order in the country, we restored the economy, we restored institutions to function within just about a year. So now we are ready for elections. So we will be holding our election in coming February, middle of February, to elect a new government so that we can go to normal running of the country. So there we need lots of support, and we are looking forward to Malaysia's support. Always we bank to them. And you have just mentioned about the Rohingyas. This is a big problem for us. We are seeking help from Malaysia, particularly as the chair of the ASEAN group of countries. So we need all the help we can get. And Malaysia, as a good friend, we are looking for investment from Malaysia, and that's what we've been discussing. We are open for business. Bangladesh has a tremendous opportunity.
Earlier, Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim welcomed Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus as he arrived in Malaysia's administrative capital, Putrajaya. Professor Yunus was accorded an official welcome ceremony at Perdana Putra complex, where Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim received the Chief Advisor as the red carpet was rolled out. He inspected the Guard of Honor as the national anthems of both countries were played. Professor Yunus then was introduced to the Malaysian delegation, and he presented the Bangladeshi delegation to the Prime Minister before signing the guest book. The International Crimes Tribunal has granted the prosecution an additional 1 month to complete the investigation into the murder case of student Yamin, who was killed after being thrown from a police armored vehicle APC in Savar during the July mass movement. The next hearing in the case has been scheduled for September 14. The three-member tribunal, headed by Justice Ghulam Murtuza Mozumdar, chairman of International Crimes Tribunal 1, set the new date today. In addition, the tribunal granted 3 more months to complete the investigation against 9 accused, including Sheikh Hasina in the genocide case over the Hifazat-e-Islam rally at Shapla Chottor in the capital on May 5, 2013. The next hearing in that case will be held on November 12. Later, prosecutor Mizanul Islam of the International Crimes Tribunal briefed journalists about the matter. Meanwhile, the second day of witness testimony has begun in the Crimes Against Humanity case over the killing of 6 people, including student Anas in Chankarpur, Dhaka during the July-August movement. The accused in the case, former Shahbag Police Station Inspector Arshad Hussain, former Constable Shujan Hussain, Imaz Hussain and Nasirul Islam have been produced before the tribunal. 4 other accused in the case, including former DMP Commissioner Habibur Rahman, are still absconding. Earlier this morning, under tight security, the accused arrested in 3 separate cases were brought from prison to the International Crimes Tribunal. The interim government has extended the term of the National Consensus Commission by 1 month. The Cabinet Division issued a Gazette notification on Monday extending the term until September 15. The interim government formed the National Consensus Commission on the 12th of February this year to consider the recommendations of 6 reform commissions and to hold discussions with political parties and forces and building national consensus. Chief Advisor Professor Muhammad Yunus was appointed as the chairperson of the commission and Professor Ali Riaz, head of the Constitutional Reform Commission, was made vice chairperson. Other members of the commission are Ayub Mia, head of the Public Administration Reform Commission, Sofar Raj Hussain, head of the Police Reform Commission, Bodiul Alam Mojumdar, head of the Electoral System Reform Commission, Justice Imdadul Haq, head of the Judicial Reform Commission, and Iftikhar Zaman, head of the Anti-Corruption Commission Reform Commission. The commission, which began work on 15th of February, was initially given a 6-month term. So far, in the first phase of dialogue, consensus has been reached on 62 of the 166 proposals, and in the second phase on 20 key constitutional issues. Commerce Secretary Mahbubur Rahman has informed that the government has set an export earnings target of $63.50 billion for the current fiscal year. He revealed the information today while talking to reporters at the Bangladesh Secretariat after a meeting on setting this fiscal year's export target. Referring to the last fiscal year's export earnings target of $57.50 billion, the Secretary said that accordingly this year's target has been increased by $6 billion. He also said that discussions are ongoing regarding the price of soybean oil as its price has not fallen in the international market. Meanwhile, the price of palm oil has been reduced by 19 taka per liter to 150 taka, added the Commerce Secretary. During this monsoon season, the prevalence of dengue and Aedes mosquito-borne disease has increased across the country. This year, the number of dengue cases has exceeded 24,000. Cases of chikungunya and Zika virus infections are also on the rise. While dengue testing is relatively accessible, tests for chikungunya and Zika virus are not widely available. To make these tests more accessible to everyone, the National Institute of Laboratory Medicine and Referral Center in Agargaon, Dhaka has introduced accurate and reliable testing for these viruses at low cost. The center offers both PCR lab facilities and rapid contests. A combined PCR test for chikungunya, dengue and Zika viruses costs 3,300 taka, whereas private hospitals charge between 6 to 6,500. On the other hand, an ICT test for chikungunya costs 250 taka and the government fixed price for a dengue test is only 50 taka. Now, international news. At least 89 Palestinians, including 31 aid seekers, have been killed and 513 injured in Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours. As Israel keeps pounding Gaza, 5 more Palestinians, including 2 children, have starved to death in the enclave, according to the health ministry, raising the total number of hunger-related deaths to 227, including 103 children. Palestinians have held funerals for Al Jazeera journalists assassinated by Israel in Gaza as protesters rallied around the world against the killings, including in London, Berlin, Tunis and Ramallah. The EU, China and Germany have condemned the targeted attack, while the UN has described it as a grave breach of international humanitarian law. Israel's war on Gaza has killed at least 61,599 people and wounded 1,54,088 people. Australia Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is in denial about the humanitarian situation in Gaza, a day after announcing Australia would recognize a Palestinian state for the first time. Australia will recognize a Palestinian state at next month's United Nations General Assembly, Albanese said, a move that adds to international pressure on Israel after similar announcements from France, Britain and Canada. Australia's decision to recognize a Palestinian state is conditional on commitments received from the Palestinian Authority. US President Donald Trump has said that to stop the ongoing war in Ukraine, both Kyiv and Moscow will need to give up some territory to each other. Trump is scheduled to meet Russian President Vladimir Putin this Friday in Alaska. Speaking to reporters, Trump confirmed that the topic of territorial concessions will be part of his discussions with Putin. He said the goal of the meeting is to explore the possibility of a peace deal, adding that he wants to understand whether Putin is willing to negotiate an agreement. Trump also said he believes he will be able to assess within just 2 minutes of conversation whether any progress is possible. During a White House press conference on Monday, Trump added that a future trilateral meeting involving Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky could also take place. Following his meeting with Putin, Trump plans to engage with European leaders as well, aiming for a swift halt to the bloodshed in Ukraine war. This is not the first time Trump has floated the idea of a land for peace deal. However, both Russia and Ukraine have rejected such proposals in the past. European countries have expressed concern that making major concessions to Russia could pose long-term security threats to the West. Since the Ukraine war began in February 2022, the largest and deadliest conflict in Europe since World War II, Russia has occupied nearly 1/5 of Ukrainian territory. Ukraine, by contrast, holds virtually no Russian land.